I'm Sherry Maupin, Valley County Commissioner.
I'm Elt Hasbrook. I've been a Valley County Commissioner almost 8 years. The county's done very well. When I ran for office 8 years ago, it was on the idea that we need to increase recreation in the county and use that as our base for economy. I think it's worked very well. In fact, I think it's worked too well in some cases. We've got a lot of folks coming up here that playing in our playground and enjoying it and investing their money, and it's been I think a pretty successful deal. I'm really excited about it. It's a clean use. It's not too much damage to our environment. However, it is tied to the economy, and we've got to still have backup plans in case the economy crashes and people quit playing.
So I was appointed in October of 2019, so this has been an interesting year for me. Lots of learning curves, and I'm very thankful for Elt because he's been a mentor to me this year. Some of the things that we've been able to accomplish, we actually put in place our lake management plan. It's a short-term plan until we can actually create our full waterways plan for the county. So that's been a big win this year. We were able to help the lake quality this year and keeping people away from the shoreline and out 300 feet. So that's been a big win for our region. This year we had a lot of IT upgrades, which Elt was a part of that also. Our IT infrastructure has needed to be improved and upgraded. And honestly, I can say that's the only win from COVID, is that it pushed us toward improving that. And we got no resistance because people understood that this is what we have to do. Pushed a lot of people to online and using the county in a different way. Instead of walking through the door, they're now using our online resources. So that's been a huge win this year for the county to be able to improve that. The team effort on the COVID, I think, is a huge win for the county this year. All of our employees stepped up. They understood what we were trying to accomplish. Elt was instrumental in helping the Central District Health Board get a mask order in place, which has helped keep us healthy here in Valley County. So I think that's been a big win for Valley County. So I'm going to say thank you to Andrew and our Economic Development Council, because I think this year's been a big win for the EDC and supporting that. And that's one of the things that came out a few years ago, was that we needed a good Economic Development Council here, and that's been a huge win for the region.
Yeah, that's and a grant writer. For years and years and years, we really struggled because we knew there were grants out there, but we couldn't find anybody that could help us apply and get that job or that task done. And we since hired Mary Rosen, and she's doing a phenomenal job. She started out kind of part-time, and we left the door open that as things pick up, if you need more hours, we'll give you more hours. And I think it's worked into a full-time job pretty darn quick. She's doing a great job, and that's really helped with the COVID expenses, because she's been able to keep track of those expenses that we've had to do extra to still manage the facilities and do it offline or online, so to speak. And she's been very instrumental in that. I'm really excited how in the past, the big issue for years and years was people were coming in for public information requests. And some of these were a lot of work, days worth of work on specific items. And because we've gone online and because all that information is available online now, people don't have to do that. So that's taken a lot of the drain off our own employees and given them more time to do their task, their normal job. And it's also freed up, I think, some of the labor costs that we need to do to run this facility. I mean, we're more efficient, a lot more efficient than we were 8 years ago, and it's really been great to see.
Our other win this year was our marketing strategy. Yep. We hired a PR company in order to actually communicate with residents in a different way, and that's been a big win this year. So our social media platform is much more vibrant, our website is more vibrant, and we're getting the word out on all the positive things the county's doing. So we're actually trying to change our communication model. So we are looking at local housing issues. We do have, that is our largest obstacle for our community, is that there is not housing for just our regular workers. It's hard in order to get people to move here, to fill positions that are open within the county and in all of our businesses. So local housing is an issue. We're working hopefully on some ground that the county owns to actually put some deed restricted local housing on it so we can address that need. So that'll be a big win in 2021 if we can accomplish that and move forward with that project.
We were kind of up against it here a winter or two ago, and we had to haul our septic pumpers, had to haul it clear down to the Payette landfill, and we knew that there's a lot of folks that have septic systems that need that service, and so we began working with North Lake Sewer on some processes to where they could take that in the wintertime when it was cold, and we've been very successful on that. We're reaching a point here by spring where there should be some facilities built next summer through some awards of the grants and from funds from the county, that by next fall that should not be an issue anymore, and I'm really excited about that. The other issue that I'm also very excited about is we're centralizing our recycling in the Lake Fork area. We've had a lot of issues over the years in our 3 sites in the cities from contamination, which devalued our end product, the recycled product itself, and a lot of it ended up in the landfill because it was contaminated by trash and stuff that wasn't supposed to be in there. And now with the centralized facility, we can control what goes into those bins, and we can get a better product, and hopefully we'll bring some value to that product to where we won't lose money like we have been in the past. So I'm looking forward to see how that works.
One other thing, our road department, so we had tried for a road levy a year ago and found that the citizens needed further information and some education in order to be able to have faith and trust in where their funds were going to go. So we accepted that challenge, started a Citizens Road Advisory Committee, and I'm really proud of our team because they've stepped up and engaged with this conversation. And so we will be working toward resolution for road funding in the future, finding out where we can find funding and what we're going to have to do in order to improve our road infrastructure. So I'm very proud of the team for that.
And I think a lot of that is going to depend too on what Congress does with PILT and SRS. If we could lock in those funds and have a guarantee of that income every year, I think that would make it a lot easier to manage that department. But there's so much variability in that funding every year that sometimes you don't know if you're going to get it or not. And so we need to get a real solid foundation under that road department for funding, and then I think we can start looking at impact fees and some of the other things that are coming online down the road to new development's going to have to pay a little bit more if they want to do things up here towards the roads. And I'm hoping that's the direction we end up going.
We've also handled 2 things, or started 2 plans, our strategic plan. We didn't have a strategic plan. So we now have about 3/4 of our strategic plan done, which will actually direct our operations for the future. And our next step will be a capital improvement plan, so we can identify exactly where all of our budgets should be focused, and so that we can come up with some plans for long-term capital improvements for the county. That's going to be a huge win for us.
Yeah, I'll start on that one. I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out with Midas Gold. We don't know if they've got their permit yet from the Forest Service. I think that's still in process, but if we reach that point, then the county's going to have to kick in and with Midas Gold, and we're going to have to sit down and do a lot of negotiation as far as road impact fees, or road maintenance, and how are we going to handle the conditional use permits, and do we need to take on more help in as far as building department or planning and zoning to handle those permits.
So we are really working on forest health, and I'm excited to see where the federal funding goes. Idaho just received $20 million to actually do some forest health mitigation, and that is something that hasn't been in the past. So that actually will help expand our recreation program, hoping that with the Forest Service that we can work on trail systems and actually work on our recreation programs here. Some opportunities for some campgrounds, so further expanding being able to bring our visitors to us, but doing it in an economically and an environmentally healthy way. So I'm excited to see how we can partner with the Forest Service for the future. And that also goes toward the IDL lands, the endowment lands. So we are starting a conversation with the endowment board to see how Valley County can actually help, I guess, purchase, lease, whatever we can do in order to help mitigate the impacts of a sale of those endowment lands. That makes a big difference in our recreation programs in the future, so we are working toward that. I believe that broadband is critical infrastructure for our future. Our children cannot learn from home through these trying pandemic times, we have recognized and realized that kids really don't have the opportunities. It becomes a socioeconomic divide when someone can't have high-speed internet when other kids can. So it's something that is critical infrastructure for our future. That it allows people to live from their second homes, become a part of our community, expand their outreach if they're able to work from home, which doesn't create overburdening at the schools. A lot of these people are older, and if they do work from home, they bring their dollars that they're earning here, but they're not putting kids in school. They don't drive on our roads, so it's less impact and yet higher dollar wages here. So broadband and that type of infrastructure has been proven that it improves the lives of those that live here and provides opportunities for growth in the future.
And my take on it is I look at broadband the way I do the highway system coming into the county. The highway determines how fast we can grow up here. As everybody knows, on Friday nights and Thursday nights, the traffic is so heavy that it slows down to 35 or 40 miles an hour all the way up, and that's the way I look at broadband. We're still living kind of on the dirt roads as far as I'm concerned in broadband, and if we could get that to a 4-lane highway or at least a nice paved highway that's fairly fast, I think that would solve a lot of our issues. I agree with Sherry that there's a lot of folks that would love to work out of their home up here that have very little impact on county services, and we would love to have them. We just need that broadband.
I would like to say first, our chairman, Eld Hasbrook, has been on the Central District Health Board. He has been gotten a lot of heat for a lot of the work that he's done, but he is working trying to keep our county healthy. And that is what we're here for, is the health and safety of our citizens. And so we're doing everything we can to try and make sure that we mitigate COVID. The other one is also in the room, and I think Andrew Menser deserves a hero's welcome to her standout too, because of all of the work that he's done with the Economic Development Council. I chaired the council for a number of years, and I'm so proud of the work that the Economic Development Council is doing in our region. And I think it's making a huge difference.
It's been really great to see how that ABC community thing grew into the Economic Council and what it's grown into now, and it's been very rewarding to see your successes, and I really appreciate the work that you've done, Andrew. It's been, I'm sure, tough at certain times. The energy level is hard to keep up, but in my case, the only people that I can really feel have done a great service for the county are our local medical directors and doctors. I've gotten a lot of advice from both Dr. Irvine and from Tom at Reinhardt at the Cascade Medical Center and Dr. Ellsworth on how to proceed on some of this coronavirus stuff. And I think they're heroes for standing up and saying, you guys, we need to do this. And that's why I kind of got on this early with the mask mandate, because I could see it coming. And I'm hoping we can be as successful as we have been. However, it's going to be a tough Thanksgiving and a tough Christmas this year for a lot of folks. So just keep the faith.
So 2021 to me is going to be all about local housing and getting a project off the ground so that citizens can actually afford to either purchase a home or have rentals that are available to them. And I'm very excited to partner with our educational partners up here. Boise State University has some online classes which will allow people to find a higher education from their home. U of I has some expansion plans and some programming available also. So I think our opportunities for higher education are here, and I'm very excited about working on that this year.
I'm just excited to get some of the projects that we've kind of been working on for a few years finished, like the recycle center and the septic pumpers deal. I'm looking forward to working more on our recreational amenities, the waterways plan that I think is going to help us protect our resources and our recreation and our drinking water, and how those are going to play out as far as economic drive and what it's going to do to the visitors and the people coming up here. I do know that if you build it, they will come and they will usually overrun it and destroy it with trash. So you've got to figure out a way to get ahead of that game, and we have sites that need that right now, and we're working with some plans to try and figure out how we can resolve those issues. But we have been discovered, and You can't stop it, but you can hopefully direct it, the speed and how fast and where it goes. So that's my goal. I'm really looking forward to working with Sherry and Dave. Sherry, as everybody knows, is a person full of a lot of energy, and I really appreciate that because as you get into this job, there's not a lot of thanks to it. You get a lot of kickback, and sometimes you get kicked pretty hard, and you lose that desire and that energy. And Sherry has kind of renewed my faith in that process and my energy, and I'm really looking forward to both her and Dave and in the years ahead.
I appreciate that, Elt, very much. Thank you. He's a good mentor also. But I'm really excited about the future for the county. We have been found, but we also have great opportunities right now. So working collaboratively together with all of the cities, all of our residents, bringing people together to communicate about what the vision is for the future, I think is really important. We have an opportunity right now to create what we want to become, and I think it's an exciting opportunity to have that conversation.